Today for equations, we are starting equations with variables on both sides. Alright, so we're going to have an equation, and on either side of the equal sign is going to have a variable, and you're going to have to combine them. So the first equation I want to look at is 8 plus 4d equals 5d. So what's always our goal when solving an equation?
Solve it.
How though? What do we do? What are we trying to get by itself? The variable. We're trying to isolate that variable and get it by itself. Okay? So if we look at this equation, I have a variable on both sides, and then on one side, I have just a number with the variable attached to it. Okay? So I'm still going to draw my line to show my two different sides. So if my goal is to get the variable by itself, what do you think I'm going to move first?
The 4D.
Why the 4D? I agree. That's what I would do first. But why?
Because you want 8 and 5D. You want to find what 4D is.
You want to find what D is, right? And right now it's on the same side as my 8. So if it's a plus 4D, what do I need to do? Subtract 4D. I have to do it on both sides. Did I change my 8?
No.
That is equal to 5 minus 4.
1.
So 8 is equal to 1D, or 8 is equal to D. Right there.
This is the same as what we did. Isn't that what we did too?
It's what we did before, but now we have variables on both sides. We've never had variables on both sides.
We haven't.
That's all you do is put AD. Wait, that's
8 equals D.
Yeah, but that's so whatever the number is, you just put that
Not
number.
necessarily. This one worked out that way because when we subtracted, we got 1. Otherwise, you'd have to divide. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's try 8A equals 5A plus 21.
How should I solve this one? Okay, so you're going to draw a line down through the middle. You're going to do 5A.
Do what with 5A?
You're going to negative 5A on both sides. And then you're going to minus 5 and 8, which is 3.
So keep the A with it,
Yeah.
3A.
And then
Equals what?
it equals 7A. 7 equals A.
Careful.
Oh, you gotta put
I got to
21.
bring my 21 down.
And then
Then I need to divide by 3. You had the right answer. You still have to show your work. You can't just jump to that. Right? So we didn't change that 21, so we're just bringing it down. Divide by 3 to get A by itself, so A equals 7.
So, like, you just do this, but you put a variable on the number.
Yeah, you're trying to get the variables on one side and everything else on the other.
Alright.
Okay? Questions on those two?
No. You're gonna get.
Those are some of the easier ones. Yep, they're going to get a little bit harder.
This one, they're gonna get double digits.
Oh, no.
Or negative. Negative and double digits.
Let's try 6n minus 1 equals 4n minus 5.
Put a line to the equal sign.
Okay, now with these, The nice thing is, there's multiple ways to solve this one. As long as you do the opposite operation of something, your first step, you cannot mess up. As long as you do the opposite. So whether I wanted to subtract 6n, whether I wanted to add 1, whether I wanted to subtract 4n, or whether I wanted to add 5. As long as you do the opposite of each thing, doesn't matter what you start with. Okay? It is personal preference. Some people always like to start with the term that has the variable. Some people like to start with anything that doesn't have the variable. It is up to you. Okay? Your first step will then determine your second step. So some of these, when you're solving them, if I say try them by yourself, you may do something different than what I would have done, but as long as you get the same answer at the end, you'll be okay.
I think
Okay.
it's a 3 from there.
We'll have to see. I haven't solved it yet.
Wait.
So,
So you can either put negative 6n or positive, or negative 6n or negative 4n. It'd be the same.
you could do either. My personal preference is I'm going to pick the smaller of them because I don't want to work with a negative variable. Okay? So I would subtract 4n on both sides.
Okay, my
So then on this side,
is negative.
I have 2n minus 1 equals, that cancels out,
Oh, I did it wrong.
so negative 5.
Yeah, fine, what's negative 5?
No, because I still have a variable. I don't have n equals.
Okay.
Okay? So now my variable is on this side. So I don't want to move that variable again, but I want to keep it on that side. So I'm going to add 1 to get that away from it.
So it'd be 4.
So I have 2n is equal to
4.
negative 4.
So and then you just divide 2.
Divide by 2, so n equals
Negative 2.
negative 2.
That was one negative number. I forgot about the 1, so I didn't.
Okay? So if you would have, let's say you would have added 1 first. So if you would have added 1, you would have gotten your negative 4, and you would have had 6n equals 4n minus 4. Then you would have moved your 4n over, got your 2n equals negative 4, would have given you the same thing. Okay? So your first step, as long as you do the opposite, you will be fine. Let's try 7g minus 12 equals 3 plus 8g.
How do you know what side to go to? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter. So I'm going to draw my line.
This one's kind of
So as long as I do the opposite of something, it doesn't matter where I start. So what's one place I could start? What's the first step I could do?
Oh, yeah, negative 7g.
Okay, I could subtract 7g. What else could I do?
Subtract. Negative 8g.
I could do minus 8g. What else?
We'll add plus 30.
And I wouldn't want to add
12, plus 12.
plus 12. What else could I do?
Negative 3.
Minus 3. So there's 4 options I could do. Okay? Which one do we want to start with?
7g.
So we're going to subtract 7g on both sides. With this, notice how I'm lining up my g's under my g's. It's going to be very important for you to line up your terms with your variables. Okay? This minus sign needs to go with my 12. That's what a lot of you forgot on the quizzes. That minus is with that 12. So negative 12 is equal to 3 plus 8 minus 7.
No, 1g.
1g, I'm just going to write it as g, because 1g and g is the same thing. Okay, so I have my variable by itself, so what do I need to do next?
Subtract 3.
Subtract 3 on both sides. So I have negative 15 is equal to g. because it is a positive 3. Look in front of it, it's a positive.
Couldn't
The
you
opposite's a
add
negative.
those two numbers with the letters?
Could you do what?
Couldn't you just add those two numbers with the letters?
What do you mean?
Coincidence. 3. Is that just like a coincidence, or? Can you look at the numbers, the problem, and add 12 and 3? And
No, you wouldn't know that for sure. It worked out that way because when we subtracted, we just got 1G. Otherwise, we would have had to divide. What was that? Because we got just G. G is the same thing as 1G, and our whole point is to just get 1.
You just get G by itself.
Yep. If this would have been a 3G, if we would have subtracted and it would have been 8G minus 5G and I would have gotten 3G, then I would have had to divide. No, because it's adding and subtracting. Only time you're going to multiply or divide is if it's with your letter. Okay? Let's try one more. Three x minus 7 equals 8x plus 23. Plus 23. Alright, draw your line through the equal sign. Now what do we want to do first? Alright, so if I subtract 3x on both sides, it comes in negative 7 equals 8 minus 3 gives me 5x plus 23. No, because 8 minus 3. Now what am I going to do?
Negative 5x.
Careful, I already have 5x by itself.
Negative 23.
I gotta subtract that 23. So I have negative 7, negative 23.
Negative 30.
Gives me negative 30 equals 5x. One step equation. Divide by 5 on each side. So I get negative 6 is equal to x.
This is like confusing now. Like my mind is like a stump right now. Like I can't think at all. I can't think at all.
When you have that copied, go to page 3, fill out your table of contents.